In 1922, a story unfolded in the suburbs of London that would captivate and scandalize the entire nation. It's a tale of love, ambition, and a murder that blurred the lines between fantasy and reality. At the heart of it all was a 28-year-old woman named Edith Thompson. Edith was vibrant, stylish, and worked as a successful chief buyer in the city. She was married to Percy Thompson, a man described as steady but dull. Their marriage was comfortable, but Edith yearned for passion, for romance, for a life like the ones she read about in her beloved novels. And then she found it, or so she thought. In 1921, on a holiday, she reconnected with a handsome young merchant sailor named Freddie Bywaters. He was 8 years younger than her, full of life and adventure. A passionate affair began. For Edith, Freddie was the romantic hero she'd always dreamed of. They exchanged hundreds of letters, filled with declarations of love, secret rendezvous, and Edith's vivid fantasies. These weren't just love letters, they were a world of their own. Edith wrote about her unhappiness with Percy, her desire to escape her mundane life. She wrote about wanting to be free, and in her more dramatic moments, she mused about ways Percy could be gone. She mentioned grinding glass into his food or using poison. To her, these were just daydreams, the dramatic outpourings of a frustrated heart, inspired by the thrilling fiction she consumed. She was simply writing her own story, casting herself as the tragic heroine. But on the night of October 3, 1922, fantasy violently collided with reality. As Edith and Percy walked home from the theater, a figure leaped from the shadows and attacked Percy, stabbing him repeatedly. Percy died in Edith's arms. The attacker was Freddie Bywaters. He was quickly arrested, and he confessed to the murder immediately. He insisted he acted alone, driven by his love for Edith and his hatred for Percy. It seemed like a straightforward case, a crime of passion, but when the police discovered Edith's letters, the story took a dark and complicated turn. The prosecution didn't see a grieving widow. They saw a master manipulator. They presented Edith's letters to the jury, not as romantic fantasies, but as a cold, calculated instruction manual for murder. Her words about ground glass and poison were read aloud in the courtroom, painting her as a modern-day Lady Macbeth who had goaded her young lover into killing her husband. Her own imagination, her own words, became the primary evidence against her. The jury was made up of 10 men, many of whom were scandalized by Edith's affair and her forward, independent nature. In an era when women were expected to be demure and domestic, Edith was a career woman who had taken a lover and dared to write about her desires. Her eloquent, passionate letters, instead of proving her innocence, were used to condemn her character. She was judged not just for the crime, but for who she was. Freddie Bywaters tried desperately to save her. On the stand, he maintained that he alone was responsible, that Edith had no idea he was going to attack Percy that night. He claimed her letters were just stories, that he never took her dramatic suggestions seriously. But it was too late. The narrative had been set. The jury saw them as a pair of ruthless conspirators. In the end, both Edith Thompson and Freddie Bywaters were found guilty of murder, despite a massive public petition with over 1 million signatures pleading for mercy for Edith. The verdict stood. They were both sentenced to hang. On January 9, 1923, they were executed simultaneously in separate prisons. Edith Thompson went to her death, a victim not just of a tragic love affair, but of the very words she used to dream of a different life. The case of Edith Thompson remains one of the most controversial in British legal history. Was she a manipulative killer who incited her lover to murder? Or was she a woman convicted for her fantasies, her desires, and for daring to live outside the rigid social norms of her time? Her story is a haunting reminder of the power of words and the devastating consequences when society confuses a woman's imagination with a criminal mind. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as compelling as we do, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into fascinating historical cases. We'll see you next time.